Today on the Broadway Shuffle, a Texas Tech sports podcast, we give our wish list for Texas Tech basketball portal targets and debate what national media gets wrong about Texas Tech. Plus, at the end of the episode, we will give our Masters predictions and see where Ludwig Oberg will finish come Sunday afternoon. We want to thank Wonder Tree and Hub City Body Shop for sponsoring this episode. And if this is your first time tuning in, we kindly ask that you subscribe. I know it gets annoying, but it's 100% free, and we promise on our end to deliver the best show we can for all of you. And thank you to all the shufflers that have already followed and subscribed on YouTube. So, gentlemen, last week we did an episode. It sounded like doomsday for Texas Tech basketball. And here we are, Wednesday night. This episode dropping Thursday morning. Jalen Petty announces he'll enter the portal. Christian Anderson announces he'll go to the draft. LaVon Watts says he's gone. So, Zyler, we said last week, worst case scenario, at least Grant McCasland seems to be staying as your head coach. But this roster is going to look completely different in 2026.
Yeah, I think far from worst case scenario right now. I think the thing that you're looking at, one, I don't know that any of this was unexpected, so you've had some time to prep for this. And I think you're looking at these guys, yeah, you'd love to have Christian back. But you developed an NBA guard. I think long-term for your program and for McCasland, that's going to be something that you reap the benefits from down the road. You see what Scott Drew and Baylor have been able to do. They consistently get five-star freshmen to go play at that program because their history of turning out great wings and guards at that program. And I think Christian is hopefully the start of that for the Texas Tech Raiders. Now, I'm not claiming that we're going to have, a bunch of, Jared Butlers and Davion Mitchells and guys like that in the future, but I think that's helpful for you. Watts, I think there was just no way that you could maintain that. I don't think that relationship was going to be good. And then Petty, I'll see the bright side here. I like Petty as a player. He's fun. He's like a short Jamal Crawford. But I think you get a lot of roster freedom not having him on your team and as an integral part. If he's taking up 10 to 15 to 20% of your budget, he needs to be a focal point. And if you're going to pay $2 to $2.5 million for a player, I think you can get somebody that's a little more versatile than Petty. Now, I would love Petty to be on my team, all things being equal. If it's a roster management thing, I think that's something I'm not going to be too torn up about it. Even though he was a good player and he was a fun player, and I wish he was a Red Raider. I understand why this happened.
So Zyler taking a positive spin there. I'm a little taken aback here that Zyler's going positive on all of these departures. Clayton, LaVon Watts, mixed feelings on him, obviously. Do you agree with Zyler's sentiment that it's good that Petty's gone? Because we did expect, Zyler called it a couple weeks ago, that Anderson probably won't be on the roster. Are you surprised by the Petty news?
I am a bit surprised. I feel like Grant's reputation with guards already is one that I would have expected Petty to stay another year and try to play as the lead guard in that offense, because I feel like he could have taken a massive step forward this year and he would have gotten paid pretty nicely at Tech and then transferred back home or wherever he's going. But I guess you could hear rumblings about this. But I think this is like an interesting dynamic of the NIL. Like, I don't know if this is like why these two players left, but with Watts, I personally don't hate him as much as most of the fan base. And I feel like pre-NIL, I would have been down to bring him back. But in an NIL world where, like, let's say he's making $2 million and then he kind of, disappointed based on those expectations, it's just a weird dynamic to try to bring a player like that back on like less money or the same deal. Like, I feel like at that point, it kind of has to move on. And then same with Petty in the opposite direction. I don't know what he was making, but with the year he had, he should expect a big pay bump. And then to Zyler's point, like that does kind of pigeonhole you into like what you can do with the rest of the backcourt and the wings. You need bigger defenders. And it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting thing that comes from the NIL that I don't feel like would be happening if it was just like the transfer portal.
Certainly. So you guys are more saying this is more of a financial reasoning. If these guys are trying to up their bargain, their agents are trying to make $2-3 million a year. If you're going to pay that, you can go get better. Conrad, I know you had a lot of opinions on LaVon Watts, not your favorite player in the world. So you're probably not too disappointed to see him go. Petty, Anderson. It's April. Season ended just a few weeks ago. Where are you right now on the state of Texas Tech basketball?
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I obviously trust Coach McCasland and Buffington and everybody there. I think they're going to build a roster that you're happy with. They're going to build a roster that can compete. They do that every single year, so that's not going to be the issue at all. I will say I am very happy at Watts entering the portal. I sent a fake tweet that I did not send to you guys that I thought about sending, but I really just sent it to you guys to make you laugh about that. I was happy he's gone. I think he's a good player, but I think he'll be. I don't think you're going to miss him. I really don't think you're going to miss him. I think you're going to replace him with somebody else. Who that's going to be, we don't know yet, but I think we'll be fine Texas Tech basketball wise. We'll just have to see what happens. Obviously, the top end question mark, and then losing Christian's a big deal, and then what you're going to do and how you're going to construct this roster, I think will be fascinating to see. But again, it is April. All this football content has me focusing on August already, and so my mind has not been that deeply focused on football or on basketball. But at the same time, when you got a coach like this, proven track record like this, and a program that is as attractive as this one is, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, and we'll get there, Conrad, to football just in a second. But Z, is your reasoning for these people leaving financial? Like, do you feel like that's the main reason? Petty, Anderson has pro aspirations, but Watts, and then that's not all that could be leaving. We're not certain on who's coming back. I know Horner's also into the portal as well. Do you feel like that's the number one reason here?
I think it's always, and this is a good question to ask, especially when you're dealing with finite resources. We don't have unlimited money. We have a lot of money, but it's compared to what? Like if Petty cost you $20, he'd be back on this roster in a heartbeat. If he cost you $100K, if he cost you $200K, he's back on this roster immediately. If he cost you $2.5 million, is that inadequate, and is that an efficient use of your resources? I think is what it comes down to. I think Grant liked Petty, and I think Petty liked getting coached by Grant. Ultimately, it's if we are going to eat up a certain percentage of our roster on you, there's a point where it's not worth it. Just like Toppin. If Toppin wanted $14 million to be a player, I'd love Toppin to be on our roster. It's not worth it. You don't, and then you build the rest of the roster with, just scholarship. So that's what I think it comes down to. So money in a way, but also I think really more resource allocation. And like I said, I don't want to dismiss Petty as a player, and I was not involved in those conversations. I don't have sources on what exactly happened here, but that's my understanding from some people that were is this is not bad blood. It's just, hey, I can get closer to home and I can make more money, and I think we were okay with that.
So Clay, that obviously leaves a lot of roster spots available. So where do you think Texas Tech goes for here? Who are some guys that have already entered the portal? Rob Wright from BYU, a guard. Has announced he's entering the portal. Blackwell from Wisconsin announced he's entering the portal. Where could Texas Tech look? I know those are going to be highly touted guys that a lot of teams are going to want, but where do you think Texas Tech could look to explore adding all of these new pieces to a roster in 2026?
Yeah, the short answer is I have no idea. I feel like with Grant, there's like no connections that get out. I know the players that we've been linked to so far are Juke Harris from Wake Forest, although it seems like Michigan's the leader, and then a guy from Nebraska. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, but Burke something. After that, your guess is as good as mine. But I do think, I don't think we're hurting for money. I would expect us to land multiple high caliber transfers. I'm sure we'll find out who those are whenever they're about to commit or have already committed. But I don't know, with this coaching regime, I feel like you're just not going to get a lot of connections like you would if like Eric Musselman was your coach and every single contact list had Arkansas as listed. But Zach, I don't know. Have you heard any other names?
Yeah, the one guy that Trilly Donovan has linked you to is David Punch from TCU. That would be, immediately number one for me. And for those of you that thought we were linked to Flory Badunga, I think we made contact. That was never, that crystal ball that people saw, that was never serious. That guy had no idea what he's talking about. That's what happens when you get your recruiting news from just people that don't know what's going on. We would love to have Flory Badunga. We are not a leader for Flory, nor is that, close to a done deal. David Punch, though, I think is somebody that's realistic and somebody that was talked about during the season that Tech was interested in. If you kind of followed some of the whispers online, that's a guy that if he joins your roster, that is a huge game changer as far as what you're going to be doing and what kind of roster you're going to be building. The thing I'm most interested in, and I guess two thoughts here. Grant gets a lot of flack for the way that he builds his rosters and the speed that he builds his rosters, but when he had a full portal season, he built an Elite Eight team that was top 3 in the Big 12. And then the 4th-ranked team in the Big 12 that had maybe the best collection of regular season wins in a Tech regular season of all time. Like, I knock the slowness of the process every time. The results have not given me any reason to doubt that this staff knows what they're doing. And listen, I'm going to say that, and then on the other side, out of the other side of my mouth, I'm going to say, why is it taking so long to get information? We don't get to see what's happening behind the scenes. So be patient, I guess, would be my contention there. I will be interested to see what kind of roster we choose to build. Do we go with the Michigan, Arizona, UConn style where you try to go really big on size, win with shot volume, with rebounding and different things like that? Or do you continue to do what McCaslin's kind of done during his time here at Tech and really lean into offensive ability, shooting, off-ball creation, different things like that? I hope we continue in that lane. My theory about roster building is that everybody's going to try to do what Michigan did, and it's going to really dilute the pool of available big man players, and nobody's going to be able to really replicate it. And if we have the 20th best version of that roster, I would rather have the second best offensive shooting roster than the 20th best rebounding roster. And so I kind of hope we stay with the similar build. I hope we get bigger, and I hope you'd love to have all of them. But I'll be interested to see what kind of roster they're choosing to build. That's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, and Conrad, Grant has certainly built up enough equity through these first 3 seasons coming in, having to adjust each offseason to building a roster. But JT Toppin, Chance McMillan, we've seen guys with immense talent that Grant has helped thrive once they got to Texas Tech. Darion Williams, to an extent, had a great year at Tech, didn't look that good at North Carolina State. So in Grant, we trust, right? I mean, I know we have that. That's why we were so concerned Grant could be leaving to North Carolina, but he's here. So ultimately, as long as Grant and company and his staff are on that sideline, we trust that Texas Tech will stay competitive in basketball.
Certainly.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. No, I think you have no reason to not. And so just because the process is going to take a little while, it's going to be okay. We've got a long way till basketball season, obviously, but they're going to get it done, and they're going to do it right, which I think is the one thing we know about this staff so far. And they're going to win.
One thing I will note, first season in program history to go wire to wire in the AP poll. That's not the best regular season you've ever had, but you've never done that before. That's really cool. And you also did it in football this year, which is the first time you've done that in a really long time. And you were the only school this year to do it in both sports in the same year. Really, really fun year if you were a Tech basketball and football fan. So hats off to those guys. And we realize we're nitpicky. It could be a lot worse.
Zyler, let me ask you this. Does that stat still mean something to you, knowing how well documented your thoughts on the AP poll are?
I think you should choose to use the AP poll as what does the public perceive you as, not as an actual estimate of value. And the public thought that you were pretty good for most of the year in football and basketball. That doesn't have any real arbitration or indication of what your actual team strength is. But you're absolutely correct. I'm a known AP poll hater.
So you're telling me we're not hanging banners for that?
No. We were not going to Chris Beard this thing and hang a 2020 COVID tournament banner for AP poll appearances.
But we basically did the same thing, tweeting that very thing from our Twitter account. But
we're podcasters. We're held to a much lower standard than athletic department. We look for retweets. They're looking for championships. So hopefully they're not worried about that.
And when it benefits your argument, you use it, man. Even if you go against it 99% of the time, the 1% you need it, you can use it. So, a lot of interesting news coming out of Lubbock as we transition to football with Bussin' with the Boys interviewing Joey McGuire. Brenneman from On3 was interviewing Joey McGuire. So we're going to get to all of that. But first, real quick, business owners, are you running your marketing with a game plan or just reacting week to week? WonderTree, based in Lubbock, helps brands grow with strategy, ads, and creative builds to perform. If you're tired of guessing, they bring clarity. WonderTree is our presenting sponsor here at the Broadway Shuffle. Great marketing company based in Lubbock. So reach out to WonderTree for any marketing needs you might have to help grow your business. So Conrad, lots of hot takes coming out of you specifically with the Bussin' with the Boys interview with Joey McGuire. Look, Texas Tech, rightfully so, has a lot of hype going into the 2026 fall season. Coming off the Big 12 championship, 12 wins. Expectations are a little bit different. And a lot of these national podcasts, guys like them, Josh Pate, Joel Klatt, On3, want to come to Lubbock and see what's in the juice out in West Texas. But you're not a huge fan of some of these guys coming out and taking over the scene without having a great appreciation for Lubbock. What's going on there with you?
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, guys, how much time do you have?
We're going to argue about this, Conrad. So just get the boxing gloves on.
It's great for Texas Tech, first and foremost. It's fantastic. But everybody wants to touch the shiny new toy, right? Everybody wants to go see these things. And, for those of us that have been with this program for longer than a year, we understand the pain that's associated with it. Now the promise that's happened. I will say, guys, the first comment, and then I'll stop because I know there's going to be thoughts on this. When you can't pronounce Evie Mays correctly and you can't get John Curry's name right, it's hard for me, guys. It's hard for me. John Curry's the man. We've had him on the show. Evie Mays is the best barbecue in the world. When you get those two things wrong with the first 6 minutes of your podcast, that's tough for me. I know it was a great interview. There's a lot we're going to talk about, but those are two black marks for me. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but just appreciate our guy John and best barbecue in the world. So I think those two things are a pretty big deal to me. Am I wrong on that?
In fairness, we pronounced Lawan Watts LeJean Watts for like half the season. Or should we get ripped for that?
We got ripped. We got ripped for that. I got ripped for that a lot.
What did they
I don't know
call
that I did.
John
I probably
Curry?
just said Watts.
They just
John.
didn't know John's name. Like they said John, and
Which is a problem.
They just didn't know his last name.
I mean, so
He
those
was the
guys
one
are
who
hopping
greeted
on-
them.
I know, dude, but it's like those guys talk about every program in the country. They talk about the NFL. Like, I don't expect them to remember every single person's name in a restaurant that was catered in. They didn't even go to the restaurant. Like, he probably wishes he remembers that, but I'm not like, oh, dude, this guy is disrespecting our institution because he couldn't remember the name of a restaurant that was catered to him.
Completely disagree. You obviously do not see Evie Mays in the light that it deserves.
No, I love Evie Mays. It's
Completely disagree.
Clay, okay, so these guys are going to argue over that. But Clay, in my mind, the bigger question really is like, I see all these national media and podcasts come to Tech and they're so shocked. They're like, what's going on in Lubbock? Like the facilities in Lubbock, like they can't fathom that Texas Tech actually has good facilities, a good coach, and a good football team. Like, do you feel like that benefits your university? Like, it's always a surprise. And like Texas Tech leans into this. Like they put Busting with the Boys on the screen and they really promote these guys that are coming to see them, which is great. But like in my mind, it's like, dude, we just won 12 games and won the Big 12 championship, Clay. Like it seems like a little silly to me that we're not getting a lot of respect. Like everyone's so shocked. And I get it. It's Lubbock. It's West Texas. You got to go to kind of see it. But I don't know. Like to me, it's just like,
it'd
dude,
been
we just
17 years since you'd won double-digit games. I mean, I get why somebody might not know, but I get what your question too.
I think it's just that's been the perception of Lubbock for so long, and it's hard, or at least they say it's hard to get there. It's really not, but nobody goes to actually check it out. And so now that you've had the success, I feel like everyone is trying to like get on this train and they're all surprised. But eventually it's no longer going to be a surprise. So I think it's a good thing. It's just you have to get over that hurdle.
And maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not surprised by it. And it's just like, dude, we just won 12 games. Joey's a good coach. We've been in the facility. We've seen it all. And maybe they just haven't. But at the same time, there's just like this, what is like, dude, you've been to Georgia. You've been to Bama. Like you've seen good facilities. Like, why are you so shocked that a school that's not Texas or Texas A&M that has all of this money can't compete with schools like that in terms of facilities and prestige and all that too?
Yeah.
But
I think we've come a long way from when Tech was just known for having an attractive football coach. That was like the main thing
our coach is
associated with
hotter
the
than
football
yours.
program.
Yeah, I had one of
So
those
I'm
t-shirts.
fine with whatever.
Did you guys have one of those t-shirts? I had one of
didn't.
those.
I
With the
had
sunglasses on it.
I had
But
to
I
teach me
believed
how to
it.
Daggy. I had to teach me how to Daggy shirt.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
It
good
was
one.
it was a big rage.
Guys,
back in the day.
I know all the rage in the past couple of years has been this thing called AI, ChatGPT, Microsoft
I'm
Copilot,
so excited
Rock,
to hear where this goes.
all of this stuff. Like this has been the focus, right? Like you can type something in, you can have a conversation with a robot. There was something that was actually really cool that was created long before AI. It's called Google and Google Maps, and there's another thing called YouTube. And all you have to do for those things is type in something and it'll pop something up for you. So you can type in Texas Tech football facilities and it'll pull up a glorious picture and YouTube video tours of the Womble training facility. And it's like you can watch them and see with your own eyes what you could see if you traveled there in person. So for people to act like they didn't know that Texas Tech had good facilities, just kind of, I don't know. It's just, it feels like an act to me, because if you were doing any research online, you should have known that.
I mean, but it is an act. It's a show.
Well,
I know,
think-
but it's like, it's fake. That's why the local guys are better.
See, I like what you did there, though.
See, this is promotion. This is what.
Now that was a really, as he winks into the camera, that was a really good marketing promo right there. And I'm not saying it's bad that Texas Tech is getting looks and like people are going to Lubbock and putting it on YouTube and like that we will be in the national spotlight. I just feel like it's a little silly that respect and that it's such a shock. And yeah, then they go to Notre Dame, like they're doing these campus tours, like they were playing knockout in Marcus Freeman's house just 4 days later. And so they come out like, we love Texas Tech. I don't know how you commit on the spot. Everyone just gets googly eyed over Will Compton saying these things. And it's like, dude, you're going to go say the same thing about Notre Dame in 5 days. So
Yeah, but
I kind of take it with a grain of salt and just wish there was, it just feels a little fake. I guess that's my point. Like, I wish the respect was just already there prior to arriving on the scene is how I feel about it.
I think that's fair. It's just, you have to remember who that intended audience is. It's somebody that is a casual football partaker. You know, they're probably, you know, they have an NFL team and a random Big Ten team. They probably don't know anything about Tech. That information is all probably new to them. It is not for the diehard Tech fan that's looking for insights on Joe. We're like, they're playing to their audience, and that their audience is national. They're not looking for, hey, Joey, could you talk to me a little bit about the safety rotation and what you're thinking about, you know, Malika Skara versus, you know, Peyton Morgan? What's kind of they're not going to ask those things because their audience doesn't care about those things. And I think exposing your brand nationally is a great thing. You are looking to build your national perception, and shows like this only help that. They did nothing but say good things about Tech, and for the longest time, you couldn't get anything but bad national pub. And so to get something like this, man, and the thing is, it's not even a blip for me. Like, if you guys doing this 2 years ago would have been the biggest story for us in the offseason. And now it's like, okay, cool. Next.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and from Texas Tech's perspective, I totally get it. I think I'm talking more of like the brands that come in the shock of the scene after we had already just come off hosting game day and winning a Big 12 championship. You know, if it was the first time, like, who's Joey McGuire? Like, who's Texas Tech? Like, I thought they were the little brother in Texas, but you made national headlines a year ago. You're going to have 3 first-round picks in the draft this season. Joey talked about that with the guys. That's really my peeve with it. It's not it's not from a Texas Tech marketing perspective. It's more from you shouldn't be shocked. Like, you shouldn't come into Lubbock and act like this is the craziest thing you ever seen. Like, we've had plenty of attention.
Yeah, it's like, did you not watch College Game Day? Like, were you just asleep, or did you what? You know, I don't know. And Brendan, I agree. I mean, obviously, it's great for Texas Tech. It's just, I don't know. Brendan, I agree with you. It feels just fake, and that's my thing. And we're not criticizing them as people or anything like that. I am criticizing not knowing how to pronounce Evie Mays or knowing John Curry's name. But I do think that, you know, for us, it's like, you know, it's good for Texas Tech. Obviously, we love anything that's good for Texas Tech. But at the same time, I just wonder, like, you know, and also the Lubbock hate. It's like, have y'all been to College Station before? Like, you know, like, have we been to these other places that like don't get the same hate Lubbock does? I think that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth when people are shocked that Lubbock is this not what it used to be. Like Shahan's article, right? Like, it's, you know, it's a fantastic place. And so I don't know. It just I guess for Tech fans, it kind of rubs us a little bit different, or me. But at the same time, Zyler, you're right. It's the national college football casual fan that you're more concerned about here.
Yeah. I want to transition unless somebody else has some really deep or intriguing thoughts about this. This is going to be a really hard pivot. We've got maybe my second or third favorite event coming up today, if you're listening to it. And I wanted to pose this question to you, gentlemen. If Texas Tech was a golfer at the Masters that was not Ludwig Aberg, which golfer would Texas Tech University be? Conrad,
I mean, how can it? You're literally taking the face of Texas Tech golf out of the question with Ludwig.
Yeah, that's such an easy.
Ludwig fits us though. Like, he fits exactly what I would say about Texas Tech because of what he's done.
Yeah, certainly. That's why I thought it was an easy answer. That's not a fun question.
Yeah. So taking Ludwig out.
Okay.
And I love Ludwig. I love rooting for him.
So let me say this. Chris Gotterup, I don't know if y'all know who he is. I know Brendan knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's come out. I mean, he's playing great golf. He's come out on a tear. Has he won one tournament?
He's won 2 this year.
He's won 2 this year, but he's a new toy. He's won, you know, a couple tournaments. Hadn't won anything big. He's shown promise, but he hadn't gotten over the hump and probably won't for a long time because most golfers don't. I think he kind of fits Texas Tech right now.
It's crazy that Conrad, I was actually thinking Chris Gotterup.
I really was,
baby. Because he's kind of like, to Conrad's point, he's won 4 times on tour, twice this year, entered the top 10 in the world. So he's had his kind of like a rival, but hasn't won a major. And so Tech, you contrast that to you've made it to the Elite Eight in basketball. You won the Big 12. You won 12 games, but you didn't win a playoff game. Like you didn't win the big one yet, but you're kind of the new shiny toy. That's how I would relate like Texas Tech athletics to an individual golfer. Hard question though, Z. Good question.
I like that. That's an excellent answer, and then we can pivot into some other stuff more Texas Tech football and basketball related. But I'm amped for the Masters. It's one of my favorite things, and I fall in love with it more and more each year. It's just the pageantry's great. The event is fantastic, and I think the drama of last year's tournament has just made me like itching for it starting. And I know I'm going to be disappointed when it's not that dramatic. Last year was, I think, 1 in a million, but. Yeah, really, really excited. And hopeful that Ludwig can drop another top 10, man. He's been really good at this tournament.
I'll say this about Ludwig, and we've got our rapid fire coming up, which is a Masters edition tonight. So we can go into that if we want to and then pick our Masters and circle back. But comes in back-to-back top 10s, could have won the Players, had a chance in San Antonio. Guys that start trending, that play well at a certain course. At Augusta, there's 91 people that tee it up. I would put a list of 20 guys that probably have a legitimate chance of winning. So Ludwig really has got to beat 19 other people, and he has 2 top 10s back-to-back in the Masters. He was right there last year. Like, this tournament, more than any, kind of rewards the people that have figured out Augusta and that are playing well going into Augusta. Scotty won twice in 2024 before he won. Rory won twice in 2025 before he won. And Ludwig's been close to winning coming into 2026. So I like Ludwig's chances a lot. I picked him to win a year ago, and I'm actually going to pick him to win again this year on a Texas Tech biased sports podcast host level. I guess who else should you pick? But I really think this course rewards guys like Ludwig more than any other major he would play. So there's my pick. Clayton, you're a big golf guy. You love golf.
That's a stretch.
Who you got winning this Sunday?
And it can't be Tiger Woods.
Dang it! I got to change my
answer. He just needs his back against the wall. Don't count out Tiger.
Yeah, he'll find a way.
He's a little adversity.
Man, for some reason I have a feeling that Cam Young is going to get it done, and maybe that's because Brennan's a lookalike. So
yeah, my wife. No, my daughter. Cam Young was on the screen and she goes, "Daddy, is that Brennan?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." Brennan plays on the PGA Tour.
And my next question was, well, is Cam Young attractive? I don't know. I hope he is. Because that's a great sign. That's a great sign for me. Good hair and a good beard. But yeah, Cam Young won the Players in March, and that's another guy. You've had 2024, 2025, the Players champion won the Masters, and Scotty and Rory. So we'll see if Cam Young can do it. So Conrad, who you got, man? You going Ludwig as well?
Yeah, I could make a case for Ludwig. I obviously hope Ludwig. I hope Ludwig wins it. Man, Ludwig's a great player. I just can't say enough good things about him. But I will say I'm going to go somewhere else this year.
He's going to the 40
acres.
Not
anything against Ludwig, but I am going to go to the 40 acres as much as it pains my heart to do that. I told Brennan I'm gonna be a man of my word. I told Brennan this earlier today. When I was first falling in love with the game of golf, there was a young man who played a Masters unlike any other, and it was Jordan Spieth in 2015, and that Masters was absolutely unbelievable. The way he played, what he did, 21 years old. I mean, that was so good. That was not the first Masters I watched really intently, but it was incredible. And he got second, and it lost in a playoff to Bubba the year before, and he's finally healthy again. The Spieth magic has not been lost. It just was dormant for a while. He's healthy. He's playing better. And there's just something about Jordan Spieth at Augusta National. And so I'm actually going to pick Jordan Spieth to win this week. We'll see if he delivers or if he misses the cut. You never really know with Jordan, but all things are possible at Augusta.
Z, that leaves you, man. You knew Conrad was going with a Longhorn.
I just knew. Conrad sent a photo earlier, and it was Jordan Spieth walking across the bridge at 12. I was just like, dude, come on. Or is it 11? What is
12?
12.
And I just knew he was going to pick Spieth. Give me John Rahm, the Spaniard. I love this game.
Disgusting.
Dude, I used to not like John Rahm because I don't like fat golfers. It really kind of bothers me. And I think John Rahm is right on the edge of a fat player, but I think he's just husky. And I can get behind a husky player. Robert McIntyre, can't get behind him. I think he's a little fat. Give me John Rahm. I like him. I watched his interview.
Wait. So Robert's BMI just a little too much for you?
No,
Like Rom's,
it's the way
Rom's
that
husky, but Robert's fat.
like I don't know how to explain it. Rob carries himself like a water boy, and John Rahm carries himself like a fullback. And it's like they both probably weigh the same, but it's just the way that you carry it. John Rahm's a powerful player, and Rob, just dude, it's like when I have to watch the guys wear the long sleeve shirt under the polos and get real pasty sunscreen on when they play, I'm just like, I cannot pull for this guy. This does not look like an elite athlete. So give me Rahm. I think he's got it. He's done it before. He's back in form. Give me John Rahm.
He plays on the way inferior golf tour though, just like
Yeah,
Bryson
that's
DeChambeau.
It's totally correct. But
Like it's like playing like it's like the PGA Tours, the MLB, the majors, and we're talking like probably high school JV baseball for the live. Like that's basically the same thing.
no, I mean
It's kind of a good.
the merits of the Live Golf Tour are not something that I will back. But
It's
I
kind of
do
like the Big
Rahm.
12.
I knew you were going to go there.
I knew he was
You didn't say that. I knew it was coming.
We were, if you listened last week and thought, I'm waiting for the Big 12 war between Conrad and Zyler, we are going to release that episode here soon. Not tonight, though, but we'll get to it here in the next week or two. But I want to do the quick rapid fire on the Masters while we got it. Then I do want to get to one more story involving Cody Campbell and Brett Yormark, obviously, in the Friday night game with Houston. But quick 2 questions, rapid fire edition. Egg salad or potato salad sandwich, Clayton?
Dude, I've never had either, but they honestly both sound pretty bad to me, but I'll take the potato salad.
Okay. Masters is known for their sandwiches,
Yeah.
peach cream ice cream sandwiches. So, okay, no, so neither for Clayton. Conrad.
I'll go potato salad.
Yeah, give me potato. Neither are good, but I'll take
Yeah,
potato.
me too. I'm more of a potato guy myself as well. Okay, best hole at Augusta National.
I like 12. I don't know if that's like a non-ball knower answer, but
I was going to say, is
That's
that the
a-
only
that's
hole? Is
definitely
that
a
the only
non-ball
hole?
knower
Is that the
answer.
only hole you know at Augusta National, Clay?
that's probably the only one I know the number of that I
Yeah,
can like pick
that's
out of
fair.
my mind.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I'm going to take so Conrad and Brennan can say their answers since they're the more avid golf knowers. I like 11. I think it's really fun. There's a lot of ways for that hole to go badly, and I think that's really fun, especially if that pin is kind of tucked over there on the left side. Rewards some really aggressive shots, but if you hit it poorly, you also get punished. And I think holes like that are a lot of fun.
Conrad.
Yeah, Clayton, it is definitely not 12. 12 has made me cry before. In 2016, that's a story for another podcast. We're not going to talk about that. Honestly, there are so many good holes at Augusta. They're probably, I mean, I can think of like 4 or 5 meh holes that I'm just like, yeah, but there's nothing
Honestly,
bad.
18,
Like I think
18 kind of stinks. I don't like 18.
no, 18's awesome.
No, I don't think that's a very good hole for a
Well,
finisher.
it's-
I don't like
it's-
that hole.
Okay, all right. I think 17's kind of meh. I think 14's kind of meh. I think 7's kind of meh. But I mean, there's so many good holes. I mean, probably right now, just thinking through them in my head. Because last time I played there, I made a hole in one on hole 16. And so I think hole 16 is pretty sweet. 16 is
Yeah.
the par 3.
I'm going 15, man, the par 5, because
knew
the
you were gonna
second
say
shot
that.
has defined not just Rory's Masters, but so
Yeah.
many Masters. So many memorable shots come from that
Certainly.
second shot on 15. It can make or break your tournament. So I think that's probably one of the most important shots on the entire course. And there's so much theater to that shot with the backdrop and the water and the patrons. And I think 15's easily, in my mind, the most drama-filled hole on a Sunday at Augusta. I think 15, so I'm going to go there.
Brennan,
Question
can you
for
say
guys.
theater for me one more time?
Theater? Theater?
Can
What
you-
am I?
He
Theater.
was very enunciated. He's been to Dothan, Alabama recently, so we'll give him a pass.
Theater?
You said theater.
Theater.
A question for you. Would you rather be able to play Augusta once or have lifetime passes to the Masters?
Play it once.
Give me the lifetime
Yeah,
passes.
100%.
Give me the lifetime
going-
passes.
No, play it once. Hot take, going to golf tournaments is not that fun. Like one a year. I typically go to the Charles Schwab Challenge every year. It's fun for a day, but like you can't see everything. So I'd rather go. I'd rather play it once and then be in the raffle and enter and not get chosen for
The rest of your life.
Reasons I can't share.
We're going to convert to a golf podcast so we can try to get a golf credential and go to the Masters.
Go to the Masters. Yeah, very difficult. We got a long way to go there.
So like and subscribe, please. So we can get there.
Please. We're 3 away from 2,500 at the time of this recording. We'd love to have you guys tune in and continue to join us every Monday and Thursday. But I agree, dude. I went to the Open, which is a major championship in golf over in England a couple years ago, and it's hard. Like when you got that many fans, you got to pick and choose your spots. You're paying for like less than 1% of the action, where in football, it's all in front of you, basketball, baseball, golf, it's not all in front of you. You're watching one shot every 20 minutes, really, depending on where you're at, And so I agree that watching it on TV is probably a much better viewing experience than actually being on site. So I would rather play Augusta and experience it than just go and sit on some of those most famous holes. So
I just think the Masters as an event is so unique compared to golf tournaments generally. I think if you gave me tickets to the US Open every year, it's like, dude, I don't care. That doesn't move me. The Masters as an event, I think, is just so incredible, and the theatrics is great. Like, I don't think I would ever get tired of it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Well, hey, great golf content there, Z. Well done on your part, Clayton. Thanks for riding the bus.
Thanks, man.
I know you enjoyed. I know you enjoyed it. So I'm gonna go to you first, Clay, with the Brett Yormark, Cody Campbell conversation. The rift. It was kind of weird, and then Cody comes out and says, "Nah, me and Brett have a good relationship, but Friday Night Lights is where it's at in Texas." Big deal, no big deal in your mind that Texas Tech and Houston may play on a Friday?
I personally don't think it's a big deal, and I'll be honest, I find this a little bit annoying from the Tech side. Like, I feel like this is exactly what we complained about from UT and A&M for years, and now we are watching ourselves morph into those two schools as they left a void. So I feel like if I was a fan of another institution, I would find this a little annoying. But I don't know about you guys.
I think that's fair.
I think that's totally fair. When I first saw it, I thought, you're the premier school in the conference. They're trying to get you a standalone game, a national televised game on a week that you probably otherwise wouldn't have one. And I personally think it's cool. Like, I want, give me a Friday night game against Houston, opening up Big 12 conference, and then enjoy the rest of the weekend. Like, I understand Cody's point of view, but on a national media perspective, a lot more eyeballs would probably be on you for that game on a Friday night compared to a Saturday afternoon. So I like it for Texas Tech in terms of a viewership perspective, but I get where Cody's coming from. Conrad, your thoughts?
Yeah, a couple things here for me. I mean, we all know that this was probably staged to get people talking about the Big 12, and we all know that Brett Yormark does not run the Big 12. This is Cody Campbell's league. And the second thing I will say is, personally for me, I work on Sundays, and so again, a Friday night game, I'd really like it for selfish reasons, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens, but we all know that this is Texas Tech's conference, and Brett just wants to get up the publicity. That's what he wants. He wants the impressions, he wants the conversation, all that stuff. But no, I think it'll be all right either way. But I mean, I'm not mad at it. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I do understand Cody's point of view.
I think I would hate it. I don't hate it. I would be way more amenable to it if we didn't have to travel to Corvallis the weekend before. Like, you're probably getting in Sunday morning at like 5 a.m. You're going to do whatever you're going to have like 3 days to figure out that game plan. And I think that's one of the pivotal games on your schedule. If this was West Virginia at home at the end of the year, I could not care less. It's on Friday. It doesn't bother me a bit. It is kind of fun. And I think Clayton's point about if I was Kansas State or I was Oklahoma State and I see Tech wins one conference title and starts demanding that their games only be played on Saturday and not on Friday, I'd be a little bit peeved. I think I can see where that's coming from. It's like, oh, you didn't win double-digit games for 17 years, and now you want to tell the conference commissioner how he should schedule the games. Like, come on, man. Like, I get where people are coming from, even if I understand what Cody's saying. And I think really the biggest deal for me is that you go 2 time zones away, Lord willing, you'll play that game in Corvallis at like 11 a.m. or something like that, but you won't because it's a West Coast game and you're a decent brand. They're going to throw you at the 10 p.m. slot or whatever that is. So that's the one thing that I don't like is how much of a competitive disadvantage that's going to put you up against with Houston.
Zyler, let me say this, man. Thinking about the Big 12 right now, and this is not where we intended the conversation to go, but this is where I'm going to take it because it's our podcast, and there are no filters here. Does it mean anything, or should it mean anything to the other teams in the conference that Texas Tech is basically carrying this conference right now in football?
Dude, I like carrying is such a strong word. Like I'm one of the biggest Tech fans I know. And we won the Big 12 and we dominated the league. We still lost a game. And then we didn't score a point in the playoff. And I know that's unfair, but it's like to say that we are carrying the league on our back. Like, I think that's a bridge too far. Like, what Arizona State could have said, hey, after our we almost beat UT, we won the Big 12, we are carrying this league. And if they would have said that, we would have vehemently disagreed, right? Right? Like we all would have disagreed. I would have disagreed with that.
Because there's no reason why we should have expected sustained success from a program that doesn't have the resources that Texas Tech does.
Why would our history lend itself to anybody thinking that we're going to be able to sustain the success?
Because history doesn't matter at this point in college football. What matters is, do you have the money to invest in players and coaches and facilities? That's all that matters anymore. History has very little meaning on the new era of college football.
And I think you can make a decent case for that, especially you look at Indiana. No football history really whatsoever, won a national title. They got investment and they got resources. But I also see programs that have a ton of money, like LSU and like Bama and like A&M and like UT and Florida. And it's like sometimes that's not all that you need. And we are not the only team trying to win this conference, and we're not the only team with boosters. I just don't think that if I were talking to an Oklahoma State fan, a Kansas State fan, and a TCU fan, I said, yeah, we're just carrying this conference. We've kind of just, we've strapped the Big 12 on our back and we're just going to carry you guys for the rest of the way. I think they would laugh in our face. And I don't think I would say that. Even though I think we are a resource team.
I think carrying gives the wrong connotation, because Zyler's right. Like, what have we carried the conference to? 0 points in a playoff game? Like, that does nothing for the conference.
Yeah.
So after we blow everybody out by 20 points every week this year, will you say that?
We are not going to.
If we score 0 in the playoffs again, I wouldn't say that.
That's $5.5 million fix that problem.
Gentlemen,
so TCU in 2022 went to the title, went 12-0 in the Big 12, and lost the conference championship game, obviously. And then it's just never really been the same since. And it's not like their fans stopped investing and their boosters stopped investing. Like, sometimes it's hard to win at a really high level at a system. Like, it is. And I just don't think it's just granted that we're going to just waltz through this conference.
This is 2 straight weeks now. We've had this conversation at the end of an episode.
I know.
So it needs to be at the forefront of an episode coming up. We teased it earlier. I'm excited for you guys. Clayton and I can play judge and juror, and you guys can play prosecution and defense, and we'll see who comes out on top there. I think that'd be fun. But Conrad, fair point. And I think all you guys bring up equally fair points on there too. It'll be interesting to see, with all this national media attention that we talked about, like, does the Big 12 need Texas Tech to like make a run in the college football playoff to sustain itself as a legitimate conference? I feel like that's the question that Texas Tech will need to hopefully answer for the conference. But Clay, I totally agree with you on the Cody Campbell, Brett Yormark thing, that like, it's a little silly. You've got millions of dollars on the line here. I get Friday Night Lights.
Mm-hmm.
I understand West Texas football. I get all that. College football trumps that. It's college football. Like, I don't think using that as an argument when millions of dollars are at play and viewership on Fox or ESPN, whichever media entity it'll be, really should come into question for Brett Yormark to do his job. Like, that's how I kind of look at it. So I agree with you that I think it's a little silly that it's even an argument. It shouldn't be that big a deal. Like, people in West Texas, you take me to a Monterey football game or a Friday night game at the Jones, I'm picking the Friday night game at the Jones. It's just, I hope my kid plays well, and it'll be on Huddle the next day. I'm going to go to the game. Sorry. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see. Any final thoughts on that, Z?
No, I think all reasonable points. I would much rather be talking about other stuff. like roster construction and roster builds. I've already started as soon as Texas Tech gets eliminated from March Madness, it's like I immediately jump into my file and start updating rosters. And I'm excited to look through some of that stuff. Our schedule is not as weak as everybody thinks it is. You know who has a really weak Big 12 schedule? The BYU Cougars. That team will get 5 of the 6 awful rosters this year. They will get UCF and Cincinnati and Kansas and Baylor. I forget who the other ones. West Virginia. They're gonna like automatically win 7 games. So,
but they get Notre Dame at home.
Doesn't go on the conference record though. Doesn't go on the conference.
They do get Notre Dame at home. So, Z, and that's a great segue into what's coming up for us. Obviously, basketball ending. We're going to have a ton of team preview breakdowns, hoping to get some people from other teams' podcasts on the show as well, too, to kind of debate them live and have that fun conversation. We'll get through position previews this summer, and we've got a lot of interviews that we're hoping to line up as well, too, to carry us into the fall, Conrad. So spring at the Broadway Shuffle. I know you guys will be at the spring game in a couple of weeks. You're not going to want to go anywhere. We're still going to be here delivering awesome content all through the spring and summer.
Also, I had somebody comment and text me, and they said, when I listen to Conrad, it makes me want to fight him. He's the best person on the show. Keep it up. And so for those of you who have similar comments like that, keep it going. We love Conrad here. It's great content. We appreciate all you guys that engage with us.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate it. Even the ones who say that if you stop listening to Conrad, this show is actually really good. Or the ones that say Zyler is actually really annoying.
That was my burner.
So that was your burner. Okay. Well, we appreciate you guys listening. We're here to have a good time. It's 100% all real, not staged, any of it. We appreciate you guys, the shufflers out there. So make sure to just like and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. We're here every Monday and Thursday, so we'll be back on Monday with another great episode for you guys. So whether on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, like, subscribe, follow us on our TikTok and Twitter as well, too, at the Broadway Shuffle. We've got a lot of fun content coming out there. And a couple new things will be dropping for us this spring, too. So make sure to be on the lookout there as well. So for Clayton, Conrad, and Zyler, I am Brennan. Everyone have a great Masters week, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
Thanks, Brennan.
He makes the catch. He's going all the way. 20, 15.